and we're back to Thek-talks podcast. I'm Thek, your host and YouTube channel, and thank you so much for tagging along with me. And here we are talking about part 2 of my testimony. Where we left off, just a little quick recap, and I would suggest go back to the previous one. It tells a little bit more about my journey. So we had lost a 4-month-old baby due to birth defects, and then we had 2 back-to-back miscarriages. And here I was talking about my bitterness and stuff and my confusion about what the heck just happened and what's the point, all that good stuff. Well, I remember going to God, and he said to me one day, he was, Tekla, when you are done being bitter, you can come back to me for the answers, because I've tried to talk to you. I've tried to give you answers, but your heart is so bitter that it's like a ping pong ball bouncing off of the wall. That is what is going on with you. So when you're done being bitter, come back to me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not done being bitter, so I'm not ready to come back to you. And that was that. And that was the truth. And that was my honest truth. And I think it's okay to be honest with God, truthfully, because I've experienced that when you're honest with him, he's honest back, no doubt. Okay. So I had the 2 miscarriages, and I was still going to church because I knew that was like the right thing to do, and I knew that I needed it in a way, and I knew that I needed community, and I also knew that I needed to go to women's small group because I was hurting so much and I needed some help. And I just, I think we all kind of know that we need other people, it's just kind of like ingrained in us, and I'm so glad I did. Because I met this one lady, her name was Jenny, and one summer she was like, hey, Tekla, the church, we're doing this like grace lessons. I think you should go with me, and I think you'll really benefit from it, and I really believe you're gonna like this. And I was like, okay. I have nothing else going on, and it was on Wednesday mornings, which was perfect. I had Wednesday mornings off, so yeah. Anyway, we've had some good conversations, and I'm talking about, when I mean good conversations, they were like the heart to heart. Here's some reality checks, and girl, you need to hear this because yeah, we need to address some things. You know what I mean? We need to address some attitudes here. And she did. And I'm grateful that she did. At the time I was kind of like, yeah, at the time. But I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to have those people in my life. Okay, so we went to these teachings about God. And let me just tell you that I am so glad I went, because I learned the difference between what I had in my mind of who the God the Father was and his heart and all that good stuff, and what he really is. Like, I had a difference. I had a contrast of who he isn't and who he is. And there was a big difference. And like I said, there was a big contrast. And not to sound foolish or anything, but I wrote a book 2 years ago about it. Yeah, let's not get into that right now, because that sounds really rude. To be like self-promoting in the middle of a testimony. Yeah, maybe I should delete that. I don't know how to delete that. I'm sorry. But yes, I learned that there was a big contrast in what I had in my mind of what I believed and what the truth really was saying. And it was saying that you can trust God even when it looks like you can't. Does that make sense? Like, I was believing some lies. I was believing some things. And the messages that I kept hearing about God's love and the Father's heart for me was chipping away and breaking down the wall of bitterness. And I so needed that. And let me tell you, one day I was cleaning my house, and I like to save the floors for last, I guess. I don't know. And it's maybe because I'm cleaning off the counters and everything just falls on the floor. And I usually save the floors for last. So I was about done. But anyway, I was in my kitchen and I was done sweeping. I was about to mop my floors. And the Lord said to me, loud and clear in my spirit, He said, Tekla, stop what you're doing. And I said, okay. He's like, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay. And He's like, you know what? You need to forgive me. You need to forgive me because you hold all the negativity, all the bad that has happened to you. You hold it against me and you blame me as if it was my fault. You need to release me to my Father, and you need to forgive me, and you need to say out loud, Jesus, I forgive you. And I was like, what? I don't understand. You're saying, Jesus, I forgive you, but aren't you supposed to be helping people like me to forgive others? Like, I wasn't thinking about forgiving Jesus, you know? And he's like, yeah, you need to say it. And I'm like, why out loud? And he's like, because your body, your soul, your body, and your spirit needs to hear this. And the atmosphere around you needs to hear this. And I'm like, okay. I said, and I did. I said out loud, I said, Jesus, I forgive you. And let me tell you, when I heard myself say that, I fell on my knees and I cried. Probably one of the hardest cries, besides losing my daughter, of my life. It was icky, it was sticky and gross, and I cried, and I said it twice. I made sure that I heard myself say it twice. I said it again, and then I heard him say, from this point forward, you will receive your healing. I was like, oh, I'm going to get pregnant next month. No, that didn't happen. Oh no, I had to learn some things. I had to get rid of some things. And in fact, this might sound a little hokey and weird, but he kind of gave me like this visual aid, and I'm very much a visual aid person, so bear with me. He gave me this visual aid about a stick figure cartoon, and there was a stick figure girl and there was a stick figure devil. And the stick figure girl had a blindfold wrapped around her and a smile on her face. And the devil was escorting her to his bonfire, like a little camp, and then there was like a little bonfire. And before you know it, this stick figure girl sits there with a smile on her face, blindfolded, and now her hands are tied. And all this represented something. The blindfold was basically saying, hey, you are blind to the agreement that you have with Satan. You are blind and you're smiling because you're agreeing to everything he is talking to you about or saying to you. And the hands are tied is because you are bound up in his agreement and in his lies. And you're sitting at the campfire because now you're friends with the enemy. And then he said, if you're friends with the enemy, then what does that make you to me? And I put two and two together and I said, okay, if I'm agreeing with the enemy and I'm at his bonfire, I'm bonding with his lies. I'm basically agreeing with them, and I'm bound up, I'm tied up, and I'm blind because I don't realize I'm doing this. And he's like, yeah. And he said, but if you're agreeing with him, are you a friend or are you a foe with the enemy? And I said, well, I guess I'm a friend. And he was, okay, if you're a friend with the enemy and you're at his camp, then what does that make you towards me? Oh, I guess that means I am probably your enemy too. And I believe he went, yes. I believe he nodded his head yes with a warm smile on his face. And he said yes. And he said, do you want that? Do you want to be my enemy? I said, no, I do not want to be your enemy, God. And he said, then what are you doing over there at that camp? And so he took the blindfold off of me, and he cut the ties, that the rope behind my back, or whatever. My hands were tied, in the image. And he said, "Now come follow me." And I did. And he brought me out of the enemy's camp, and he brought me to his camp. And I just want to say to you, you know what? We all have something. We all have some kind of hurt in our lives. And I can almost guarantee it that there's something somewhere that's holding you back. And a lot of times it's unforgiveness. For me, it was unforgiveness towards Jesus, because I really did blame him for a lot of my hurts. And it was because he allowed me to get pregnant. But he showed me that with sin in our fallen world that we live in, where we are at this weird default of problems happening. But it was because of Adam and Eve's fall, okay? So this wasn't brought on because of him. No, he doesn't bring, birth defects. He heals them. He doesn't bring on hurt. He sets people free and heals them. That's what he does. So I just want to let you know that you could possibly be at the enemy's camp and you don't even know it. And I want to suggest to you to ask God to help take the blindfold off and show you where you need to forgive and who do you need to forgive. Because I want you to be free from that poison, from those lies, that infliction in your heart that's weighing you down. Because, my friend, what I did was I took all the validations that I could possibly conjure up, and I thought that was my protection, to be honest. I thought that was my strength. But instead, it was crippling me. It was making me actually weaker, because I found myself bitter and angry and just a rough person to be around. I didn't even like myself. Does that make sense? So when I want to tell you this, I want to explain this to you, all this, because I want to see more people who are like me, once bitter, not bitter anymore, once a little bit indifferent with God, to be his friend. And it is possible that you could be at the enemy's camp listening to the lies, and you don't even know it because you got the blindfold on. So today, I want you to take some time and ask God to show you where the blindfold is, and to take it off, and to help you see what it is that's holding you back, and to help you renounce it, speak it out. I believe in that. And to take you to his side. And if you're so weak you can't even take yourself to that side, let me tell you, God will pick you up and carry you to his side. I've been there, done that as well. All right, my friends. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of sitting back thinking about what I just said. I'm going, oh my goodness, did I even make any sense? Did that even make any sense today? Because I just threw up a lot of words at you, right? Okay. Well, I'll see you next time, and we'll be starting our book, Little Things Matter, our devotional. So I'm so excited about that, to be sharing with you guys, and stay tuned for next time. All right. I hope this blesses you. Please share, comment, and subscribe. Like and subscribe. All those good things. All right. Talk to you later next time on Thek-talks podcast.